And Joe, I like what you did there. Shedeur, QB4, or should we say more? I mean, it's just we already know what happened in the draft when it comes to Shedeur, and we said the proof gonna be in the pudding. What was he drafted round 5, pick 144 by Cleveland? Of course, the topic the whole time of that draft was how many teams are gonna pass over on Shedeur? When is he actually gonna get drafted? Why do they not believe in his talent? Then we also seen analysts come out and say, look, to see the way he patched the ball before he throws it, that's a sign that's a giveaway tell right there of when he's going to actually throw the ball. So that's going to let people say, oh, we could pick the ball off when he does this. There was so many negative things that they had to say about Shedeur before he got drafted to the Browns, and then they continued to say this about the Browns, and then the Browns even came out and said, look, I ain't pick him. The GM did, which had me puzzled because I'm like, well, ain't that what the GM supposed to do? He's supposed to go out and get the scouts and pick the players. So why the owner coming out saying I didn't pick? You ain't Jerry. Like, why you come out saying? But anyway, we'll talk about Jerry in a minute. So then people were saying they signed more quarterbacks. So how many quarterbacks you gonna have in the room? And Shedeur said, you know what? Give me some reps and I'll show y'all what I can do. Shedeur just did that in the first preseason game. He went out against the Panthers, and some would say he lit it up. Some would say he deserves to not be in the fourth spot. But this is not my division. We got a Ravens fan here to talk about it. We know how you feel about the Cleveland Browns when it comes to the panels and when Tay is on. But we know Carl's going to give us expert opinion on why Shedeur should be starting as the Cleveland Brown court. I'm just playing. Carl, should Shedeur be QB4?
No. And I was surprised. Who else but Cleveland? Who else but Cleveland would do this? The man is a baller. Now, one thing I heard, I don't know if it's true or not, but this is what I heard, that he had something in his thing called prime equity, to where he gets percentages of his jersey, and that's why teams were scared to take him, because he gets a lot of his money from his jerseys. Man, look, the man is talented. The man, let's name the quarterbacks that's in front of Shedeur Sanders. Joe Flacco, a veteran, but he's 40. And I love Joe. Shout out to the Super Bowl. But he's 40. Kenny Pickett. Are we serious? We Kenny Pickett?
Sure about
No.
that?
And then Dylan Gabriel. If Dylan Gabriel is in front of Shedeur, honestly, then we know why the Browns have a quarterback carousel every year. It's because they can't analyze a quarterback. They can't scout a quarterback. They had Baker, and Baker did well, and they ran him out of town. I can't see how you can see how accurate Shedeur is, how poised he is in the pocket, and the throws he made, like the one touchdown on the run, inside ball, low pass. That's a good ball, and he didn't do that with the starters. So the man went down the field, didn't have any turnovers, had two touchdowns, pretty efficient passing day. Dylan Gabriel, Kenny Pickett, and Joe Flacco, I believe, did not play. He's above Dylan Gabriel. Any like without any of the extracurriculars off the field, whatever, everybody puts Shedeur over Dylan Gabriel. So it just shows that this isn't a football thing. This is something beyond football, which is crazy. And is quite frankly to me stupid. But no, Shedeur is not QB4. Shedeur is QB2 at the worst, at best. Y'all know I said this a few episodes ago. He should be starting week 1.
I can go Tomo. So based on what we feel like Shedeur is before he got drafted, he should not be QB4. Based on the depth chart when he got drafted, he should be QB4 though. And let me explain. So Joe Flacco was QB1 when he got drafted. Kenny Pickett was QB2 when he got drafted. And Dylan Gabriel was QB3 when he got drafted. Okay, so what changed since then? The preseason game. Now, obviously, he's been playing well in the training camp. That's what we've been hearing, right? But the preseason game, he played well. See, the reason why, if this was a regular situation, you had QB4 and a QB3 of Dylan Gabriel, 2 rookies, and let's take away the names, right? And let's start them off from scratch from that preseason game. I would keep Shedeur at 4 because we still haven't seen Dylan Gabriel in the game yet. So I feel like the Eagles game that's coming up, because one thing that's impressive about what Shedeur did, he did that with the seconds against the first. Like he went against the Panthers first defense, and he had the Browns' second defense, whatever, second offense, whatever. So this preseason coming up against the Eagles, Dylan Gabriel should start and see what he can do. Hey, can you do can you outdo Shedeur? And then after that, Shedeur comes in the second half, and then we invite. Then there should be some movement. If Shedeur looks good still, and Dylan Gabriel just shows you that he's not on Shedeur level, then you should move that. You know what I mean? Like so, but based on what we think, I think he should be number two. I do think Joe Flacco should be QB1 because Joe Flacco has shown, even at the age he's in, that he can win you some games. He did it with the Browns. He did it with the Colts. You know, with the Browns, led them to the playoffs last year. The Colts got to a slow start, and he got them to an 8-9 record. You know, so I do think he should be QB1, but Shedeur definitely should be QB2. But based on the depth chart, how it was we got drafted, let's wait till the Eagles game, then we can flip off some stuff.
You're not
Sound
gonna
like
get.
politics to me.
I mean, this whole thing was politics
Yeah,
from
I mean,
him,
it is.
even when he left from his college career all the way up till now. It sounds like it's been a lot of politics. I mean, we already know how the league feels about Prime and make sure Prime, man, we want to make sure you're getting well. But you don't think Kenny should be second just because of
No,
veteranism? I'm just
no,
Well,
asking.
no, based off what I know, he better than Kenny Pickett. I'm sorry.
exactly.
Okay,
But based on the depth chart, Kenny deserves to be two because he's been hurt.
okay. I just wanted to throw it out there. I just had to ask. Should he be four? I think it's a clear cut decision between all of us. No, four is insane. Honestly, he shouldn't have got drafted in the fifth round. We definitely agree there. And again, Joe, what you were saying about Dylan playing against the Eagles, I don't know I don't think the Eagles want to play their starters in the second game, but their defense is
They might.
if we comparing defenses, Dylan going up against the Eagles defense, and then we got Chicago. I'm not saying the Panthers defense is no slouch, but you talking about a team coming off of a Super Bowl, and then all of the pieces they added. It might be a rougher day for Dylan. So to compare the two is going to be like, I know it's apples and oranges, but at the end of the day, they both make juice. It's going to be tough. But I would like to see what happens in that Eagles game, just so he can get a nudge.
Mhm.
Again, let's say Dylan goes out there and he throws 3 interceptions every time he touches the ball. Now that's when you just like, you know what, Shedeur, we gotta throw Shedeur in and see what he gonna do. Now Shedeur goes out there in that same Eagles game and then he gets 3 touchdowns. Now we're looking at the Browns like, there's no you can't do anything about that because the proof is in the film. Would have made play after play after play, and we already know how it is when he plays with a bad offensive line. Because again, most of his offensive lines weren't the best in the world, so we already knew him coming into the NFL. He was going to show us something. But to come out in that Panthers game the way he did to shut up most of the doubters, because they still gonna find a way to doubt you. We agree. It's politics, but I definitely hold on joint practice this week. So yep, that's gonna be good too. Shout out to Kevo. He back in the chat, so he gonna keep us updated on those as well. So thanks,
I ain't
Kevo.
listening.
You don't got to, but we know the videos is
You
coming.
know why?
I, we need to see videos on both sides. Okay.
Talking about Tanner McKee. Get out of here.
But no, we don't. I don't agree that he should be four. I agree with y'all too. I just had to ask a question about Kenny Pickett, just because again he is a vet, but he should be second, and then Joe Flacco should be, depending upon how he plays. If injuries happen, then Shedeur might be the starting quarterback, and Carl, you might get what you asked for. I know he should be starting week one, but you might get what you asked for.
And I just want people to notice this is not because the first preseason game why I think Shedeur should be the starter. Like I said, I said
Mhm.
this a couple months back. Shedeur should be the starter. To me, he was the best quarterback in the draft. Outside all the extracurriculars, just playing football, to me, he was the best. Cam got it the nod because he had a great season at Miami, but Cam wasn't considered a number one pick coming into that Miami season. He worked his way to get that, which is fine. But Shedeur was considered a top pick before all the extracurriculars, and it was a shot Shedeur was dropping out the first. So I really believe in Shedeur. I believe in the talent. I think he's a way better quarterback than people give him credit for, and I think the criticisms he gets honestly not necessarily fair because, like Tomo said, throughout college, his offensive line was just average this past season, and that's putting it light.
Nah, for real.
Last year was
Okay.
terrible.
Not for real. I know it. I
But
know a Titans fan, and she had asked. She was like, Cam Ward, or Shedeur, And I was like, well, Cam's a dog. So either way, you can't go wrong with either quarterback. But I was like, but Shedeur's used to being around a bad offensive line. So if he comes into the NFL with our offensive line, I think he'll find a way to still win you games. So it's just become second nature to him. Like his quarterback clock is already sped up.
You think Shedeur should start with Flacco?
Yeah, I said that earlier too. Like in the past
I'll
episode.
start Flacco.
He's 40. I
But
understand.
this
Look,
is but Carl, this is not like a question I'm asking you for the future. This is now.
I
Okay, how
understand
old
that.
are you?
I get that, but look, I'm gonna put it to you like this. I understand he won games 2 years ago. I understand he won a couple games last year. Very inconsistent last year, by the way. But we know as you get older, that extra year becomes more and more impactful. Now, when you're 25, 26, you do something 2 years ago, cool, you're around the same player. But when you 40, 38 is a big difference than 40 as age. So I think you get a young gun. I think you get a young gun a shot and let Joe Flacco mentor him.
But here, Joe Flacco already said I'm not here to mentor. He already said that.
He
But
said that
but
to
but
Lamar too.
but also a lot of these quarterbacks are getting ruined because they get thrown in so early. It'd probably be best for Shedeur if he's sitting behind Joe Flacco and then Joe Flacco screw up and then he can grade himself in versus starting on week one.
All
And
right,
then when he is playing bad, then there's a reason to bench the dude and then put Joe Flacco in. So
I hear
like
that. Oh.
that's why. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I hear that, but a lot of that happens when you come in and have high expectations. Shedeur, because of all the politics and stuff, is a fifth round pick. So people ain't expecting him to come out and take the Browns to a playoff.
The Browns, we are the
But
fans too.
no, I don't know about that because even Dave in the comments said the Browns media hating on him.
The media. I'm talking about the fans.
I don't know. I feel like
They
the
love
fans.
Shedeur there. They want Shedeur to start.
I feel like the fans will give him grace because they feel like he already in a bad position psychologically, so they can explain that to if he does play bad. Like, look, y'all done played with him. He just drop all that other stuff. I hear you, I do, but again, the fact that Joe Flacco is 40 is a big reason why I think Shedeur should start because
I'm not saying the fans gonna want him out the field. The fans will have high expectations. And if he does play bad, it gives the Browns a reason to be like, see, Joe Flacco gonna win. I would rather him replace Joe Flacco versus Joe Flacco replacing him. That's what I'm saying. But I do want to say this though,
like Bryce Young, a Bryce Young type.
Now Bryce Young's situation was bad though, but
that's the more overall pick.
No, I'm not talking about the pick. I'm talking about what Joe's saying. He come out there and start, he play bad, then he get benched for an older quarterback.
Look at Drake May.
Come back. Okay, that's a better one.
Look at Drake May. Drake May, Jacoby. Come on now, Jacoby was out over Drake May. Come on, same situation. But Joe Flacco's even better than Jacoby. Jacoby goes in, he stink it up, and then throw Drake May in. So now, no matter what Drake May does, it was better than what Jacoby was giving us. So it's no pressure.
That's fine. That's a better look. I'm talking about who I think, no matter what, no look, no politics, no nothing, Shedeur should be the starter.
Okay,
that's a better look. It's a better look. Like if he come in, oh, Joe Flacco ain't doing so well, let's throw Shedeur in. Let's see what he got. Yeah, that's a better look. As opposed to Shedeur come in, he might mess up, and then they go, look, see. But in terms of who I think should be the starter, Shedeur.
But I do, before we leave, Tomo, I do want to say this. I want to get Shedeur a lot of credit because Jackson Dart is getting a lot of praise for his performance also. And I think Jackson Dart's performance was more so engineered. If y'all watch that, like a lot of quick pass, a lot of easy stuff, just to get him in rhythm and stuff like that. Shedeur, it was more like, here you go, make it work, and he did. So I want to give him a lot of credit for that too, because when you watch, like he had to improvise multiple times. You know, you could tell they didn't truly set him up for success. Like Jackson Dart was set up for success in his preseason game.
That's their guy. They think Jackson Dart is going to be their guy. So, like you said, Shedeur is not the owner's guy. He just got picked by the GM. Remember? So.
He gonna regret that statement. He should have claimed him.
I can't wait till he get good. I can't wait till he show off and burn the Browns. Ooh, I can't wait.
Oh, that's gonna be interesting. We gotta go to the next topic.
Yeah, we do.
All right, so